Hello. Welcome to today's session about the task ecosystem at Microsoft, featuring Microsoft Planner and Microsoft To Do. I'm Dave Heller. I am a product marketer from the Office Product Marketing Group. I'd like my esteemed colleagues to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Simon Chan. I'm the Product Marketing Manager for Microsoft To Do. It's great to be here. Nice to see you.
Hi, my name is Ira Cho. I'm on the engineering side. I lead the program management team for Microsoft Planner.
Thank you. Our goal today is to introduce you to Microsoft To Do, provide a refresher on Planner, and share our vision for the future of the task at Microsoft, including a deep dive to show you the latest. Our hope is that you can leave today's session thinking, I can save time, energy, money, and empower my organization with the latest task and work management tools in Office 365. There are 3 data points that can help illustrate how you can empower your organization with Office 365 task and work management tools. In this case, with Planner. The first 2 data points are a result of research we conducted to understand what end users value about Planner. We asked participants who represented an even distribution across small, medium, and large-size organizations that if they could pick just one value of Planner to pitch its use to management, what would it be? 2/3 of the respondents said that they would emphasize Planner's ease of use. We asked participants who had never seen Planner before if, after a brief demo, they would have interest in learning more. 84% said they would. And the last data point here is infinity, which is roughly the number of third-party task and work management applications available to your end users. What does it all mean? Planner's top value is its ease of use. It's quick to get started, easy to understand. We built it that way, and Ira will speak more to that in a bit. 84% is a staggering number. Imagine delivering a tool to your organization that 84% of its users have interest in it. And with all of the disparate apps that are available to us, Microsoft offers solutions that are compliant, enterprise-ready, and integrated throughout Office 365 workloads. Speaking of integrations, Microsoft's task ecosystem is complex. There is a multitude of tools for general-purpose task, work, project management that we can use in Project Online, Planner, Outlook Tasks, OneNote, To Do, and we can also do more vertical-oriented work in tools like Visual Studio Team Services, Dynamics 365, or Staff Hub. Our goal is not only to want to make sense of it all, we want to change the conversation to say, regardless of where you create your work, and regardless of where you do your work, you will have one place for all of your tasks. This is our vision, and we're just getting started. So what does the vision look like? One example is taking your high-level tasks in Project Online and integrating them with Planner to break them out and make the work more accessible to end users and resources. Additionally, maybe you record tasks in OneNote, or you create tasks while checking email in Outlook. Regardless of where you're working, those tasks will show up in Microsoft To Do. Lastly, for the tasks that have been assigned to us in Planner, from Project Online or otherwise, we will also be able to access those from To Do. So we will have one portal for tasks from all of these different places where we create work. And so in the end, we have this bulk of tasks that represents everything that we've created ourselves or work that has been assigned to us. To Do takes these and prioritizes them for us. So we know what tasks are important today and what are important for tomorrow. We'll hear more about that in a minute. OK, so before we kick off, I encourage you to post questions you have during our session to Twitter using the hashtag BRK2071. We'll pull them up at the end of the session, and in addition to hosting the questions live, we'll answer them from Twitter. So now I'd love to hand off to Simon for an introduction to Microsoft To Do.
Thanks, Dave. So let's get started by kicking off by introducing to our brand new personal task management app called Microsoft To Do, which is now available in preview. Before we get to the demo, though, I want to take a really critical look at the very humble and much-loved to-do list. Now, author and professor Andy Meyer remarks that most to-do lists don't actually let us or help us distinguish between what we want to do and what we actually have a fighting chance of completing. So how does Microsoft To Do take this problem and actually help us focus and find the most important tasks we need to be working on and, of course, get them done? Well, it all starts here. At the heart of Microsoft To Do is a feature called My Day. You can think of My Day as a daily to-do list that smartly helps you focus and achieve your most important to-dos. And it works a little bit like this. You first open the app, and you have a calm moment to plan your day. It starts out completely blank, and this allows you to capture your most pressing thoughts, ideas, and of course, to-dos. So let's say yesterday I was having a meeting with Jeff, I went to bed, I got home, I wake up in the morning, I check some emails, of course I look at social media, and then I remember, oh, I need to send Jeff some of those notes. So I'll open up To Do, and it's really easy and simple to capture those tasks. But now you're probably thinking, hey, it's great, I can capture tasks, but what about all those things that I did yesterday, or maybe I didn't do yesterday? Or let's say you've probably scheduled something for this week, or even if you have an upcoming deadline that you know about, but you can't remember all the tasks that you have. It's pretty easy to forget, right? And it can get a little bit stressful knowing that you have all these tasks, but it can be very difficult to find them. Well, in Microsoft To Do, there's no need to worry at all, because we have this great feature called Suggestions. You can access that by tapping the light bulb, and you'll first get an overview. Whoops, excuse me. You'll first get an overview of all the tasks that you completed yesterday, anything that you haven't as well, any upcoming tasks, any overdue tasks, and if you're feeling extra productive, like you really want that bonus this year, we'll have a list of extra suggested tasks from across your list. We use a really smart time-based algorithm to find other relevant tasks that we think are important to you. So now we come to a point where we've got this great suggestions view, but what do we actually do with it? Well, instead of having this long list of 10, 20, or 30 tasks that you need to get done this week, Suggestions curates the most important ones for you for today. And since you have that curated list, you can actively be really intentional about what you want to complete. So you go from a list of 10 or 20 or 30 to just about 3 or 5. And what you get with Microsoft To Do is an incredibly useful daily to-do list that you can achieve every single day. So now you're probably wondering, there's this guy Simon up here, he's talking about this new task manager app called Microsoft To Do, but what does it actually kind of hit? Where's the impact that we kind of see in terms of increasing productivity, not just for you, but also for your users? Well, in the first few months that we've been in preview, I'm really excited to report to you that we see an 85% completion rate. That's an incredible number. Of all to-dos and tasks that are created in the product, 85% get completed. And that just really exemplifies how powerful My Day and Suggestions are. Now, of course, you're probably, hopefully now, wanting to use Microsoft To Do. And as you put more and more tasks in there, you'll probably want to think about trying to get them organized. Well, in Microsoft To Do, the best way that we think that you can organize all of your tasks is to put them into separate lists. And essentially, you can create lists for anything. Your personal work tasks, maybe a couple of work projects that you have. If you travel a lot, you can create lots of different types of travel lists. I'm sure that a lot of you had a packing list before coming to Ignite this week. But you can also kind of capture and manage your personal life tasks. And by that I mean, if it's something like career goals or courses that you want to do to learn more, books you want to read, even things like the weekly grocery shopping list. The way to think about Microsoft To Do is that it is all about helping you, the individual, get your tasks done, no matter if they're for work, home, or anywhere in between. Speaking of moving between home and work, you're probably wondering where can I get and how can I use Microsoft To Do? Well, we're available wherever you are. We have apps for Windows 10, Windows Phone, iPhone, iPad, Android phone, Android tablet. We have a web app with work account support coming later in November. And we already have a Mac app in the works. Essentially, no matter where you are, you'll be able to access your lists and tasks across all of your devices with Microsoft To Do. Now, of course, like all good task managers, Microsoft To Do lets you add additional context to a task. All you have to do is simply tap on a task, and you'll come to here to our detail view, where you'll be able to add a particular task from a list to My Day if you don't want to use the suggestions view. But you can also add extra details like reminders, due dates, and add all the extra context you need to a task with notes. So that gives you a quick introduction of Microsoft To Do. Back to E-Ray and Dave to tell you more about Planner.
Great, thanks, Simon. That's some pretty cool stuff. And so we just heard a little bit about how To Do can help you intelligently manage your individual tasks. So now we're going to talk about the next piece of the ecosystem and hear about how Planner can help you manage tasks as a team. So from day one, our core philosophy for designing Planner was to keep it simple. You know, everybody works on projects, but not everyone is actually trained in project management. And this is really where Planner comes in. So Planner is a great collaboration tool that helps teams track their work together and get stuff done. But the key here is that you don't need any training to really be effective with it. We hope that you'll find Planner easy to learn, easy to get started, easy to organize your stuff. And then the next piece is that we integrated it throughout the Office 365 experiences. And so that way you can work effortlessly no matter what tools in Office 365 you're using and hopefully get stuff done and achieve more. But I'm just going to actually go and demo for a while and actually show you what I mean. OK, great. And so this is the first experience that you'll see when you boot up Planner. This is what we call the Planner Hub. The Planner Hub shows you all of the different plans that you're currently working on. You'll see that the plans are divided into two main sections. You have your favorite plans on top and all the other plans down below. Anytime that you want to focus on a particular plan, you can just mark it as a favorite. And so, for example, I can just go and mark this roadmap as a favorite, and now I get additional information about the progress of that particular plan. So, for example, I could see that in the product launch, there's 2 completed, 4 not started, several late, and several in progress. Let me now drill into the product launch plan. The core experience of Planner is the board. The board shows a collection of cards. Each of these cards represents a task that your team can go and track and manage. All of the tasks are then organized into different buckets. For this particular product launch plan, we've opted to go and use buckets that represent like a work stream. So for example, we have messaging and branding tasks. We threw them all in this column. We also have social media tasks, and we put them all in this column. The thing is, these are all up to you, so you can do lots of different things. Another common pattern we see, for example, is doing more of a process flow. So in this example here, imagine I'm managing like a video process. So I can go and have different stages like capturing the video, post-production, or pre-production, post-production, and I can just drag the cards all the way across to go and track the status of things. In addition, you don't have to just do one way to organize all your buckets. One thing that I actually do in almost all of my plans is I'll have some process stuff, but I'll always have a here's the scary items bucket. So anything that my boss cares about or my boss's boss, I'll always put it in that particular bucket. So it's easy to go and track what's going on. The next thing is when you go and drill into any of these tasks, you get all of the metadata that you'd expect out of a task management tool. So you can go and see who the task is assigned to. You can actually assign the task to multiple people if you want. You can also specify the progress state, a start date, a due date, set a description, as well as break down the work into additional sub-items like checklists. You have the ability to have customizable labels on the side. So these are, again, ways that you can go and specify your own processes for your team. We want to make sure Planner is flexible enough to go and capture all the different ways that you might want to work. Down below, you have the ability to attach documents. These documents are all stored in SharePoint automatically. And you also have conversations that are powered by Exchange. In addition to this core view that's customizable by buckets, we also have a couple of other views. So for example, you can actually organize this by assigned to instead. And so this view is really great for a regular team meeting. So I can go and see that now all the tasks are organized by who they're assigned to. So if, during a team meeting, I can just run across the board and just say, hey, Adele, what's going on? Alex, what's going on? Isaiah, and so on. Sometimes I want to be more focused on just progress, and so I can switch over to progress view and then see how things are going here. For example, if I happen to know that we've started doing this VIP lunch planning, I can just go drag that over and then mark it in progress, and similarly drag it over to mark it complete. Some of the other views that we have include the charts view. And so the charts view is a great overview of what the team is up to and seeing who's doing what. And so I can run down this list and see, hey, have I equally distributed all the work? And it looks here that some dude named Dave Heller doesn't have any tasks assigned to him. So let me go and reassign some work and have him help me out. So I can just go here, mark Dave as the owner, and then remove myself. And you'll see that all the charts are updating in real time. So it's really easy to go and manage your work there. While you're in this view, you can also go and organize it by due date. And so as I click through any of these columns, I can see for a given person what tasks are assigned to them, and then also when they're due. So we can make sure that we're always focusing on the most important stuff. So you might be thinking, that's great so far, but if I have all of these different plans, how do I make sense of it? Do I have to click through everything? And the answer is no. We also have a My Tasks view. And so if I click over to here to My Tasks, we actually pull together all of the tasks that are assigned to you across all of the plans. So you have one easy place to focus. We let you see that by status, and you can also organize this by plan, so you can see what's going on. Okay. So when I started, I said that it's really easy to go and build out one of these plans and get your team organized in just a matter of minutes. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm actually going to go and start over with an empty plan over here and actually just show you all the steps that it takes to go and build something together and kind of how we might use it to plan an event. So for the example here, Dave's going to be actually following on his phone throughout it too. So we have a great mobile app as well. We'll show that at the very end. But for the example that we're going to do today, just, hey, let's say if me, Dave, Simon wanted to go and plan this session. So the first thing I would do is I created a new plan. I can invite some of the members of my team here, and then let me just go and start creating a bunch of tasks. So let's see, if I'm doing an event, I have to go and create a session deck, and then I have to do a demo script, demo environment. Let's see, we want to make sure we got the messaging right. Want to do a final review of the deck. Also wanted to go check out the venue, do a tech check, book travel, and let's see, maybe we should also figure out a fun place to go party when we're done. Okay. And so I've just created a bunch of tasks now, and let me show you how I can then organize it. So for something like an event, I probably have a couple of different buckets that I want to go and start creating. So for example, I could say there's a bunch of tasks that are related to content itself. There's also other things that are related to venue as well as travel. And then from there, I can just go and drag and drop stuff. So, a bunch of these things all look like, Dave's reminding me to drink water, which is probably a good idea. Let me get my water bottle out. And so you can see that this is a collaborative space that everyone can kind of work together on. So let me go and move a couple of these things over. Final deck, check out the venue, do a tech check. I want to book travel over here. And then I think these are some of the really important stuff. So super high pry things. And do that here. And let me actually take a sip of water. And now I can mark that task done. Great. Okay, and so the next piece is that you want to go and divvy up all the work. We make it really easy to go and distribute work. You can just open up the members pane and just start dragging the tasks around. And so on. And then the next piece is that, let's say if we wanted to go and add a couple of bits of more information, let's say like booking travel. Well, there's actually a couple things that we need to do here. There's, book the flight, let's see, the hotel, probably want to get a rental car or something like that. Great. And the thing is here, now I just actually realized, well, okay, well, a couple people are going to be booking travel. Let me actually preview it so I can make sure everyone's doing the right thing. But I can also now copy the task. And so I can go and copy this task and duplicate it right there. And that way, it's easy for me to go and assign it for everyone that has to go to this trip. So I know that Dave has to go, and then I have to go too. Now that I'm actually here, I can go and mark off a couple of these things, and you see all of that stuff just updating right there on the card. This is all synced across all the devices, so everyone's seeing the same thing. The next bit is, I mentioned that we can go and attach files. And so let's say for the session deck, there's a couple of ways to do this. So first off, as I mentioned, everything here is backed by SharePoint. And then it's also backed by Exchange and group conversations. And so let's say before we started, we were exchanging things via email. Because you can go and easily throw any of these into your email, they get automatically saved to the attachments collection of your group. You can just go and attach a document that way. You can also go and update and upload your own documents. And again, these files all get stored up into SharePoint as well. And so as that's going and updating, you'll eventually get a nice preview of that. So I've kind of showed you how we can start fleshing out this content a little bit, but what about the schedule? That's kind of the most important thing. Like, when does everything need to be done? So let me hop over to schedule view now. This is one of the new views that we have that we're rolling out in the next few months. So this allows you to go and easily schedule all your tasks. On the right-hand side, you see all of the tasks that don't have a due date associated to it. Again, all you have to do is just drag and drop the tasks, and now they have the due dates specified. You'll notice here that I dragged a task in the past, and so that's automatically marked late. Let me drag a couple more on. Once you drag that task on, you can actually figure out, like, well, the final review might actually take a while, so let me give that a whole week to get that thing done. We've made a bunch of progress on it too, and so let me mark that in progress. And so you can see right away that it's easy to go and schedule all your work, see how everything's doing, and you can focus on this both within a specific week or within the month. Okay, well now let's finally kind of wrap it up and just say, how did I do? And so if you go back to the charts page now, it looks like I did a pretty good job distributing the work across the team. And so now it looks like we got organized quickly, and now we're ready to go and execute on our session. Okay, so I kind of just walked through a bunch of core planner experiences right now, and so hopefully you saw that it was easy to get started, easy to get organized, and bring a bunch of content together in a nice kind of visual and appealing fashion. The next piece, as I mentioned before, is that we integrate deeply in Office 365, and here's really where all that stuff comes together. So no matter what tools that your team is using in 365, we can be there too. And so the first one that people often ask about is, what are the various ways that you might integrate with Outlook? I spend a lot of my time there, so what's going on with that? So let me hop back to my initial plan here. So when you look down below, you'll see that I have a comments and conversation feed. So this is all driven by Outlook group conversations. And so for example, if I now hop over to my Outlook experience, you can see all of the conversations across all of the tasks all rolled up here. And so you can see the same things around asking about the brand, and I can also respond to it from the context of Outlook, and that'll show up back in Planner. So the demo is working great. And let me cross my fingers on that. And so you'll see that that got sent back, and then if I open up this task again, you'll see that that comment popped up here. And so this is just these little things that just make it really easy for you to go and work in the tools that you feel most comfortable with, or work in the tools that make sense for the part of the project that you're on. So during the earlier phases, you might be doing a lot more communication. So things like email or chat might make more sense. Later on, if you're doing all the project planning, the planner portion makes sense. Towards the end, you often have to output documents and content. And so in those places, a SharePoint-based experience might make more sense. So in addition to the conversations linking, we also have another new capability. So I showed you the schedule view a second ago, and you're like, well, that's great, but I also want to see all of these tasks in the context of the work I have to do or the meetings I have to do. I want to see it on my Outlook calendar. And so we support that now as well. So if I click here over to this menu command, I can now add all the tasks in a plan to an Outlook calendar. And so I can just click over here. That'll go and open up my Outlook calendar. And then I just hit save to import that in. And now you'll see all of those same tasks that I had in Planner also on my Outlook calendar. So you can get a complete view of all the work that you need to do on the context of a calendar. And then the last little bit, too, I'll also show is that a lot of times, in addition to just seeing it in the calendar, you want something a little bit more direct. You want to get notified a little bit better. And so we are introducing 2 types of new notifications over the coming months as well. And so if you click over here, you'll see that there's 2 things. One is that we now will have assignment notifications. So anytime that someone assigns you a task, you'll get a great notification there. And then the other one, too, is that you'll now have due date notifications. So you'll see an email if you have anything due in the next 7 days. And so that way we can kind of just help you stay on top of all your work. As I was noting, all the files here are backed by SharePoint. So let me go and hop over to my SharePoint experience and show you what I mean. So within SharePoint, you can see all of the documents that I've uploaded through Planner, as well as upload your own from this experience as well. One of the new things that we've added now to SharePoint is a new Planner web part. Whoops, I think I clicked twice. OK. And so what you can see in the Planner web part now is you can put on the home page of your team site a great overview of what's going on. So everyone can see, hey, if I'm using my team site for collaboration, I can just go to the home page and see the project status. In addition to seeing the charts view, you can also actually go and have your entire board there. So if you want to just be very public about what your team is up to, you can just throw it right there on a page. We automatically know how to pick up the right board for the given site that you're in, and then you can see your whole full board within the context of a SharePoint site as well. Oops, to put a title. Okay. Great. OK. The next piece of integration that we also do within Office 365 is working with Microsoft Teams. So Microsoft Teams is one of the newer products within Office 365. It offers a chat-based workspace to go and manage all your work. So let me go pop over to that. OK. So over here on your Teams experience, you can have your chat experience kind of right there in the middle. What you can also do is add a Planner tab or multiple tabs. So you have an option of either creating a new tab here or adding an existing one. In this case, I've already added the product launch tab to this particular plan. And so now, in the context of Teams, where you do a lot of your chat, you can also see the plans that you want to, all the tasks that your team needs to work on. And it's really easy to go and start a conversation about them in the context of Teams. And so you just have to click over here on the right, and then you can open up a chat pane. When you go and talk about any particular task, I can go here, I can just copy a link to that task, and then let me go and @mention Dave again. So @mention Dave and be like, also take a look at this, and paste it in. And so from that point, Dave will be getting a notification from his device, and then when he goes and looks at the actual chat, he can just click in on that link, and that'll open up the right plan, the right channel, and kind of pop up the right task that he should be looking at. And so it looks like Dave is like, wow, so much, yeah, you're telling me. OK, and so the last little bit of integration that I'm going to show is also with Microsoft Flow. And so Microsoft Flow is is also a relatively new service that it helps orchestrate changes across different services, both internal and external. And so flipping back to the product launch plan I have over here, is that you'll see that I have a document library called For Review. So what you can do here is initiate and create a new flow here. And so once you've done that, I've actually kind of set it up already. What you can specify is whenever a file is created or added to that document library, you can go and do something like create a task in Planner. So that way, we kind of have a tighter link about things that I need to review. And so I've actually run this flow already for these 2 documents. And so if I pop back, so you can see these 2 press release and vision doc. And so if you pop over to here and I see tasks from the flow, you can see that I have these 2 review tasks already. And so these are, again, just trying to go and bridge all the experiences across Office 365 to make your collaboration more effortless. And so lastly, I was going to go and pop back to Dave, and hopefully he could show us a little bit about what this all looks like on the mobile device.
Great, thank you. And also, Ire is humble about what he's built, but these are some of the top requested features for Planner. We're super excited to deliver them to you, and there's a lot more coming, which we'll speak to in just a few minutes. But first, I wanted to walk through what this experience looks like on my end on mobile. OK, so I'm actually going to start from Teams, because this is where I do most of my work, including my planner work. And notice that we're talking about the product launch plan. So let me go back. So here we have product launch. I'll go to the general page and click on tabs, and I see that I have my planner tab right here. So I'll click on it, but what just happens is it instantly goes to the planner app on mobile seamlessly. You really don't notice any latency at all, and I go right to the plan that I care about. So now I'll walk you through the planner experience from mobile. First, I'll go to the My Task page, and on top we see search optimization, which ERA had assigned to me earlier in the demo. And then on this, he just assigned it to me. It's not started, but you know what? I'll get started on it. And then I let ERA know, thanks, unhappy face, I already have lots of work. Going into the Planner Hub, this is still the product launch plan. You can see that I can sort of very smoothly and cleanly go through both my task lists and the buckets, and then going across buckets as well. And then lastly, in the hub, you can see that we still have the ability to favorite plans, so you get kind of a high-level view of all the work that's going on within your plans. So with that, I'd like to hand it back off to Simon and talk about connecting tasks at Microsoft.
Thanks, Dave. So we've covered how Microsoft To Do helps you focus and find and complete your most important tasks that are relevant to you as an individual. And again, with that incredible 85% completion rate. And E-Ray and Dave have just shown how incredibly powerful Microsoft Planner is at helping you manage teams both within the Planner and across Office 365. But there's one particular area of task management that we haven't really touched yet. And it's probably what you've all been waiting for, and it's a part of the title of this particular session. And that is, tasks, where do they happen, and how do we connect them? Well, let's take a look at where tasks happen. They definitely do not happen in isolation. Tasks happen in the conversations that we have in hallways, in the meeting rooms that we have every week, the meetings that we have every week. They also happen in the conversations we have over email, Microsoft Teams. In fact, anywhere where you're doing work in Office 365, the chances are incredibly high that that work is directly related to a task. So we have a vision of connecting tasks at Microsoft. And it's all about empowering you and your organization to achieve a whole lot more. The first steps that we're taking on this vision and on this journey of connecting your tasks is an Outlook task integration with Microsoft To Do. So on the left here, you'll see the Microsoft To Do iPhone app, and on the right, you'll see the Outlook Tasks web app. Now, when you create a task in either app, it'll sync directly with the other one for one. Whether you complete it, you want to edit it, you want to add a due date, a reminder, or a note, or move it around in lists, everything syncs together. So this integration allows you to take your Outlook tasks from your desktop, and we know a lot of customers have been asking for this, with you on the go with Microsoft To Do, with our apps for iPhone, iPad, Android phone, and Android tablet, which is available in preview right now. Next up, though, I'm going to show you the next step that we're making, and it's something that I'm really, really excited to show, because we literally have not shown this demo to anyone. It's, I think someone said on Twitter about MS Ignite that a lot of the demos that they're seeing is kind of, they can see the steam rising off the code. That's kind of what we're about to show you. So I'm going to give you a big sneak peek of how we're doing more to connect your tasks in Microsoft. So here we have a planner with a plan from online marketing from the Planner Hub. Of course, you have the My Task view, which is great. You get all of the relevant tasks from you across the different plans, from across the different teams. Now, specifically in this plan, we can see that Leon here has 3 tasks assigned to him. But there are 2 other tasks there sitting. And these 2 other tasks, they don't really matter to Leon. So whilst Planner is really awesome at giving project managers and leads and even individuals that holistic view of where the team is going, what happens to the individuals in your teams? What do they actually want to do day to day, and what do they want to see? Well, we know, and we've heard from many customers, that what they really want to see is this. They want to have a holistic view of the tasks that are only relevant to just them as individuals in their work. They want to have it in the context of all of the other tasks that they have to do as well. That is within Planner, outside of Planner, and of course we have Outlook tasks as well. So with this integration, you can go to My Day, you can click Suggestions. I can add something from yesterday. I can add something from that is upcoming and due today. And of course, right here at the bottom, I can see I've got Planner tasks. I should probably prepare that budget review. And so essentially what we have now is the same powerful My Day experience, pulling in your tasks, not just your personal ones, not just the ones from Outlook tasks, but also now with Planner. And of course, no demo would be complete if I completed a task, went over to Planner, and I'll do a force refresh. Oh no. So here we go. That's how fresh the code is. But I can show you in a video of how that works. Happened. So here you can see doing the same thing. You can see the tasks in Planner. I go to Microsoft To Do. You can add it to My Day. And then you complete it. And then it will reflect back inside of Planner as well. So Dave, back to you. Or anyway, sorry.
That's all right. Okay, and so now when we look at the sort of the future roadmap for how we're looking at the development across Planner and as well as some of the to-do areas, we'd like to bucket all of our work in a couple of major areas. And so obviously, first off, we just want to keep on improving the core experience. So we want to make sure that you're more productive, it's easy to continue to go, and we get deeper features. The next thing is that we want to keep on going down that road of integrating across Office 365, again, for that effortless collaboration. The third bucket of work that we're doing is around extensibility. So this is around not just the stuff that's internal and Office 365 oriented, but providing the right APIs to go and integrate through other services. And then finally, as an Office 365 service, making sure that we're IT ready, IT friendly, enterprise ready is always really important for us. Okay. So within the Planner core experiences, here are some of the features that we're looking at in our roadmap. So I talked a little bit about assignment notifications and due date notifications. Some of the other work that's in progress, and these are all really heavily driven by user voice suggestions and customer feedback. And so I encourage you to stop by at the booth and say hi and ask me what you want. And then also whatever we hear from customers and other experiences. So we have multiple plans per group, so that way you can start creating multiple plans with that same collection of people for different pieces of collaboration. We're also going to be doing external user access. This is something that's available in some of the other collaboration experiences in Office 365 already, but this allows you to go invite someone who's not a member of your tenancy to go and collaborate with. So for example, if I'm working with a bunch of vendors or an external partner, I can go and also manage my work with them. And then finally, we're looking at doing plan templates. And so what plan templates will let you do is to not only just copy plans and kind of create the same processes over and over again, but you can actually define templates for your organization. So for example, let's say you have to do a kind of a request for a proposal frequently. You can do something like that. Or you have an IT project that you do often. You can create a plan template for that as well. We're also going to continue to invest in all of our mobile scenarios too. So some of the things that we've worked on first are really around just kind of managing all of the mobile device access. So we've just about enabled Intune MAM management, and then we also have single sign-on, so you get easy kind of access across all of your apps within Office. You saw we have email notifications right now. We're also doing mobile push notifications, and that's something that we're working on now too, and hope to have that out pretty soon. And then finally, we're going to be building out a Windows Universal app. So this will be targeting desktop experience as well as really large screens. We think that a lot of times people want to go and look at this at a team meeting or at a stand-up, and so having this work well with pen and touch on a big screen is kind of an important scenario for us. And then finally, one of our highest requests on user voice for our iOS app is to have an iPad-optimized version, and so we're also going to be looking at doing that. Some of the things that we didn't show today within the Microsoft Teams experience is the first one. So how many people have been using Planner within the context of Teams? So we have a pretty good amount. And so you'll see that we've just kind of getting started with that integration. So one of the first things that we're going to do is just to make sure that any of the plans that you see within Teams are available in all other planner experiences. This has been a common source of feedback that we've gotten, and we're working on this. We hope to have it out really soon. The next thing that we're going to do is also have the My Tasks app appear within Teams. And so the My Task app lets you see all of the tasks that are available across all of your plans. So we're going to be releasing this probably in about 2 months or so as Teams rolls out their app capabilities. And then over time, this will evolve into kind of this, the whole task ecosystem. So you can kind of imagine, the to-do experiences and the planner experiences all kind of providing that same sort of intelligent task management within the Teams too. We are going to be exposing notifications through the bell as well, so you'll kind of see this common theme of we are lighting up notifications around all of the experiences that you might use, and then obviously you'll have the control to turn them on and off. And then finally, as I noted, today there's some differences in all the capabilities that we've exposed via the Teams thing. That's just a point in time. We plan to go and actually have basically full feature parity across the two experiences. And then the last little bit is that we are also working on a planner bot. And so this will help you, because the planner bot will basically live in a channel and do some things like help remind you of upcoming work, also make it really easy to go and create tasks as part of the chat experience within a channel. Okay. So now talking about the API experience and kind of the extensibility. So one thing that we already have a Microsoft Graph API for Planner. So we GA'd our Graph API, and this gives you access to all of the plans, the tasks, buckets, and so on for Planner. One of the things I really like to stress is that Planner itself is built using the Microsoft Graph, and then our mobile apps use only the Microsoft Graph to access all Planner data. And so you saw that our mobile app was pretty rich. You have the same richness and access to all the same stuff via the API. As we continue to build out new features, we will always have that same capability exposed via the API because, again, we're taking a big bet on the API for our apps, and so you can leverage that richness too. The next piece that we're working on is having additional flow integration. So I showed a little bit about how we have some preview flow activities that help you go and create tasks, things like that. We're also going to be investing in triggers for flow. So in that case, whenever it's, let's say, a new task was created in a planner, you can go and trigger some activity in a different service. Yes. Great. Okay, kind of a similar type of pattern is using webhooks. And so webhooks will also provide a similar type of triggering capability. So whenever specific events happen, you can go and set up your service to subscribe to those events and then trigger some activity. And then finally, we're also going to be looking at some reporting capabilities. And so this is both some reporting around an Excel export, which is another really high ask on our user voice forum, as well as doing reporting APIs. And then one last bit, too, is if people have been using the API a bunch, you'll notice that it always runs in an app and user context. And so for a lot of app-related scenarios, that works out really well. But when you start to shift to more reporting or you want to do more service-to-service integration, a lot of times you don't have a user context. And so in this case, we are looking at introducing an app-only policy, so you can always kind of have a background job running and interacting with the tasks and doing things like syncing stuff up or doing reporting on it. Okay, the last category that we talked about is around sort of enterprise readiness and IT control. And so we've introduced a bunch of features that we've rolled out actually soft elite already, but we're in preview for several features that help people manage their plans and manage their groups. Under the covers, Planner relies heavily on Office 365 Groups infrastructure, and so we're using a lot of the same management capabilities. So some of the features that we're rolling out now are, one is around group naming policy. And so what group naming policy lets you do is control what the actual names of the plans and the groups are. So you can go and specify, no one can name a plan called, CEO plan or anything like that. You can also forcibly specify a prefix or a suffix. That can be a static string, like you wanted to go and have everything start with the word plan. You can also pull that off of AAD properties. So for example, if you wanted to pull the department for a user, you could see that everyone who creates a plan from that department would have marketing as the start of it. And so that way, when you enable more of a self-service model within your organization, you have that same control that you're not polluting your gallery or things like that. The next thing that we're helping with IT to go and manage their groups is specifying an expiry policy. And so this means that if someone's gone and created a group or created a plan and hasn't really touched it for, say, 90 days, you can actually go and expire it and then have that get cleaned up. And the owners of that plan will get an email and say that, yes, are you still using this? If not, we're going to expire it. But this is just making it easy, again, for IT to go and manage the collaboration experiences across Office 365. And then finally, there's also the notion of group classification. So what group classification lets you do is specify sort of an additional layer of meaning of what each of these groups are for. So what we do internally at Microsoft, for example, is that we have levels like has high business impact for really confidential stuff, medium business impact for just normal collaboration, and like low business impact for just things that are more externally facing. And so you can go and specify your own levels for your own organization, so that way you can make sure that you understand what each group is being used for and what sorts of policies you should apply on top of it. The next piece that we're working on too is a bit related to mobile as well as for the web, but we are working on conditional access. And so this way you can control who's going to be accessing your plans and where they can access them on various devices. And then the next bit is, today Planner is already Office 365 Tier D compliant. We are working on getting Office 365 Tier D compliant, or sorry, Tier C, and then we're working on Tier D. So the main piece is we have to get a couple of more audits, and then we'll get there. And the same is true of our plan for sovereign clouds. And so the sovereign clouds are things like the government cloud. We have an instance of Office 365 that's run out of a German data center as well as within a Chinese data center. And so these are some special offers of Office 365, and we want to make sure that Planner is available for customers for these specific instances as well. And those are something that we're working on over the coming year. Okay. Let me wrap up and pass it back to Dave.
Cool. Thank you. So we've seen and heard about the amazing innovation coming to the task space with Microsoft To Do and Planner. Now, both applications are available across the Office 365 SKUs Business Essentials, Business Premium, Enterprise E1 through E5, Education E1 through E5. To Do Only is available in the new Enterprise F1 SKU for first-line workers. And as we mentioned before, To Do is currently in preview, but general availability is expected later this year, so please stay tuned for that. So lastly, Microsoft provides tools through the Fast Track Productivity Library that help inform your end users about what's available to them in Office 365. For Planner specifically, there are currently email and poster templates that help drive awareness and guide users to how to and support content. So when you bring this back home to your organization, you have content ready to distribute to your end users to let them know that not only they have Planner, but here's how you use it. And with that, I really, really hope that you'll evaluate the session. Let us know what you loved, what you didn't love. It means a lot to us. Thank you. And now I'd love to go to Q&A. We're going to open up Twitter, read the comments, and also, obviously, the mics are live, and we're happy to answer questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So are you going to have the ability to have, it seemed like the tasks were, you had tasks in a project, but can you make them dependent? Like, one thing is, I got to have this done by Friday, but should it push out and then it push the other tasks with it, so that way the whole schedule keeps up with itself?
Yeah, that's a great question. So currently we don't have near-term plans to do task dependencies. Right now, I think our best answer for task dependencies is do something like Microsoft Project. And so it has really robust tracking for doing all the dependencies, have a great Gantt chart view, and then kind of re-leveling everything as needed.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, I got one from Twitter here. I use Wunderlist. Does To Do replace that?
The long term and the simple answer is yes. The slightly more longer explanation is we are in a process of making sure that To Do is a great replacement for Wunderlist. So right now we're in preview, and we're very aware that we are missing features like sharing subtasks and tags and prioritization that a lot of Wunderlist users really love. We are hard at work working on those particular features right now, and they're all coming to Microsoft To Do and will be available before we eventually sunset Wunderlist, which we said originally last April when we came out as being in preview. So I hope that answers your question.
Right. There you go.
Hey guys. So I didn't see in To-Do whether or not there was any type of Cortana integration or voice-to-text integration.
So there isn't one at the moment, but we are definitely working on having a Cortana integration. So if you were to use Cortana, for example, to create your tasks or reminders or add things to particular lists, that type of scenario is definitely on the cards and will be coming in the next calendar year. Yeah. No worries.
Question in the back?
All right. Where's the SharePoint task list? I missed it.
Yeah. So the SharePoint task list isn't going anywhere. It's still there. Our thinking for the SharePoint or that sort of collaborative case is that Planner is sort of the successor for a lot of those scenarios. And so our hope is that through our Planner integration into SharePoint, that for a lot of those team task tracking capabilities, you can go and use Planner. Planner isn't going to try to go and duplicate every single capability in SharePoint tasks. And so, depending on your scenarios, again, those task lists aren't going anywhere and they're still there.
Cool. I got one from Twitter here. What are the plans for collaboration features in To-Do, such as sharing and permissions?
So with the integration plans for To-Do in terms of sharing and permissions, we'll probably, first iteration of sharing will just be a general kind of link sharing. So you'll be able to invite someone specifically, and if they're part of specifically, if you're an AAD customer, only if they're part of your tenant will they be able to join that list. As we go further, though, I'm pretty sure that question will have a second follow-up question, which is, can I then specify who is joining my list? That's definitely something that we're thinking about and is on our backlog that we'd like to also release after we get sharing out the door first.
Have you considered mapping the buckets to the status? So if, as you did, you move something through sort of a progression, but it didn't update the status.
Yeah, it's something that we've thought about a little bit. So I think what we're trying to do is balance that you have one notion of kind of the built-in status, and we're thinking about adding a couple more states to that, and to kind of have that as be one thing, and then kind of keep buckets as sort of another layer of organization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
With regard to Wunderlist and To-Do, will it be dual identity? Will you be able to have a personal account that keeps your personal tasks?
Yeah, so we're definitely looking at offering multi-account support, I think is what you're asking for. Yeah, so we don't have a time frame yet, but it's definitely on our roadmap. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I've got two To-Do questions. One is, when will To-Do have categories that integrate with Outlook? And the other is, can To-Do or will To-Do pull tasks from Dynamics 365, notably invoice approval?
Both of those are really good questions. So in terms of the categories and the feature parity, or the idea of having feature parity between Outlook tasks and To-Do, so we're really, in this preview stage, really looking for that type of feedback. We've had similar requests. We don't currently have plans to match category for category, but we do have lists, and we do have plans to add different categories in terms of prioritization as well. So that is the color coding that you see in Outlook tasks, and that should hopefully reflect one-to-one. But we're definitely open to that type of feedback, so please hit us up on user voice, on the tech community, give us that type of feedback. It will help us build out a better task management experience for you with To-Do as well. And the second question was specifically with Dynamics 365. Yep. Again, that kind of falls into a really similar bucket. We're looking and we're very much focused on building these great core experiences first, and then we're looking to then build out that integration based on the volume of requests that we're getting in. Currently, we're seeing a lot for OneNote, and of course, Planner being one of them, and Outlook as well. But Dynamics 365, it's great to hear that. I'll bring that back to the team as well. Sorry, Lisa.
Hi, do you see an integration to VSTS tasks happening?
Yeah, so I think the question was, do you see integration with VSTS tasks? So I think that from the To-Do side, again, our point of view here is that tasks across Microsoft that are assigned to you could find a home in To-Do to help you manage your day. Is that what you're asking? I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
okay.
And possibly when?
Yeah, I think for the Planner one, I'd love to talk to you a little bit after this to hear a bit more about your scenarios.
Great. Okay, so we have a question from Twitter. Can you please create a connector for Flow that includes task change trigger? This is for Planner, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and so that is something that we are looking at. As I mentioned, for part of our extensibility, we are looking to add new flow triggers. I think the main triggers that we're looking to add first are when a task is created, when a task is completed, and when a task is changing buckets.
Great. So we have some Gov questions. When will To-Do and Planner be available in Gov tenants?
Yeah, so on the planner side, our next big wave of audits is happening in March of 2018. And so assuming that we pass the audits, which we're pretty confident that we will be available shortly thereafter.
And on the 2 side, we've just gone through our audits for Tier C compliance, so that relates to commercial availability at the end of this year. In terms of reaching the government plans, it's definitely on the cards, and we're hoping that we will get there. We're looking probably, don't have an exact time frame yet, but we'll probably have more news for you about it next year as well. Sorry, please.
I'm not sure if you show that, but would you be able to create like tasks from within emails, both for To-Do and for Planner, and the same thing from OneNote? While you are taking note, would you be able to create tasks?
Yeah, so that Outlook task integration that we showed today is just the very first step of what we're trying to do with Outlook, and we are working actually currently on exactly that scenario where you get an email that's really more tasked than actual communication, and the ability to quickly and easily send that to To-Do so you can get it out of your inbox and get back to all the other more important things, and the same goes for OneNote as well. Working on that one too. So yeah, I think my general manager right here is pulling you over to show you something very special. Cool.
Did we have a live one back in?
Sorry.
Will you ever have the capability to set predecessors or determine critical path?
Yeah, so I think that that's probably more of a planner question. So we don't have any near-term plans to go and do predecessors, dependents, critical path. Again, we think that this sort of level of depth is more appropriate for project and project managers. And so if you want to use Project Online or Project Professional, they have all of those features already.
Cool. All right, got a few more here. I actually have a lot. Could you share some timelines about planner notifications in Teams, ditto for flow triggers?
Yeah, so for the planner notifications in Teams, it's something that we're looking to roll out in the next quarter, so hopefully by the end of the year.
Great. Simon, how are personal and business to-dos parsed out in team views? How are they aggregated, stored, delegated?
That's a really interesting question. So in terms of, I would probably want to have more context on that one. So if you're in the room, please come to a microphone. For personal tasks, if we have multi-account support, they'll be separate. So you essentially have 2 different views. Very similar to if you use the Outlook mobile apps right now, you would switch between accounts. So they wouldn't necessarily aggregate into one day. And that would generally depend on what we're thinking, at least, is depending on the level of control that a particular admin wants to have over a tenant. Of course, we have the ability to combine those as well, but we haven't yet built this feature. So if you have any feedback about what you'd like to see here, we're all ears, because we really want to understand what you'd like to see. Is that you?
That was me.
Okay, perfect.
And specifically, I mean, if it's on the mobile app, it's going to have access to your personal mobile data. I don't necessarily want my boss to see that I'm picking up diapers tonight at 7 p.m. as an example of an innocuous but personal thing that I'm sure that this would aggregate. So that's what I was not concerned to maybe be a strong word, but curious about how where and who sets that.
So we would make that definitely an admin control in terms of whether you'd be able to have the 2 in one view. Or whether you could have the both. But generally, when you're using both tasks, we would store them separately. So anything that you would create with your work account is stored specifically within that tenant on your tenant's Exchange. That's where our backend basically is on Exchange there. Anything that you create with your Microsoft account will be stored on our other servers, our basically Microsoft account Exchange servers as well. So they're both very different. You will never be able to see the interpolarity between the two from the work side or the personal side. You would only get that one analysis if you were to ever analyze what you were doing inside of your 2 accounts there.
So does the app on your phone then allow you to add multiple accounts, essentially, to pull from your Microsoft account versus your org account?
Yeah, you would be able to do that, yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
Cool. We have a question in the back over there.
Great.
Hi, yeah, so the planner web part that you talked about earlier,
yes.
You showed it on a SharePoint site that's attached to a planner. So I imagine that's one that was created in Planner first. So my question is, will that web part also be available for SharePoint sites that were created through other avenues, like through Yammer SharePoint sites or regular SharePoint sites? Can you pull those over, or does it always have to be connected to the planner?
Yeah, so for our initial release, it's going to always be a site, I think they're calling it a collaboration site that's associated with an Office 365 group. So if you have the group of features enabled, it'll be in that case. Over time, we're going to go and explore what it looks like to go and also have it available just via, a normal or non-connected Teams site. And so I think the scenarios that we're looking at there first are if you want to go and show a board from something else in that context, and then eventually just having it natively there too.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Cool. All right, so one question is, Will you have complete integration with Outlook for Planner and To-Do, like Outlook tasks? I mean, I think the general idea is for To-Do, it's going to be an endpoint for all tasks. Between Planner and Outlook, I guess it's a maybe. It's not something we're necessarily working on right now, but with more certainty, we can say that they'll definitely both flow into To-Do. Cool. If you sign up to that.
Yeah, well, I think that with the different Outlook integrations, we're going to have the email side of the integration, we'll have the conversations, we'll have the calendar, and I think that as part of our working with To-Do, we'll go and try to make sense of that a bit more tightly. We definitely hear the feedback that people are interested in seeing it in a core Outlook experience.
So, in the middle.
Will you be able to manage via an admin site what parts of the ecosystem that a co-tenant is able to see? So for instance, if I don't want them to see the team site, but I only want them to see Planner, will you be able to do that?
So do you mean, I guess a little bit it matters on what level. So today you can control a lot of the visibility of things using Office 365 licensing. And so that gives you kind of that first layer. But are you asking kind of on a per group basis, or?
Yeah, I mean, so right now, one of the things that I think a lot of us are going to struggle with is when either giving the users the capability to create teams, which will create groups, which will create a lot of different things. If I have an external party and I just wanted to share tasks with them, could I only limit it to that?
I see. Yeah, I think that right now the way that the system is working is mostly that you kind of manage it all as a unit. We have, as more and more teams are leveraging kind of the groups as the infrastructure, we are hearing this request more. And so, I don't know what the exact timeline on. It's something that we are discussing a bunch internally about saying that, for a given group, which capabilities to turn on and off as part of the creation flows and things. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Are there plans within a Teams conversation to be able to create a to-do task related to a conversation?
Yes, so we are working with the team on trying to build that scenario out as well. Also similar time frame, sometime next year is where we're looking to be able to land on that.
Next year?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
In terms of the OneNote and To-Do, wherever you guys are going, is that going to pull kind of the context of where it is within OneNote of what book it's in, what tab it's in when it goes to the task, so you know the context?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think that also, just for everyone else here, it relates to how we would integrate with Planner tasks as well, and also even your emails in Outlook that you convert into tasks essentially, or add to To-Do. What we are thinking of at the moment is, and what we thought about for quite some time, is where I showed the detail view where you see reminders, due dates, and notes, is to probably have some type of card that gives you that additional context where if you want to jump out back into your OneNote app for whatever reason, you need to read the whole note again because it happens, right? We forget stuff. You can simply click or tap on that and you'll open that app if it's available, or it'll open up on the website and deep link back, basically take you back right where you need all that extra information.
And is that going to be two-way integration in terms of whatever I update, it's a dynamic thing?
Yeah, so we're definitely looking to always have that active sync. So essentially the idea would be that you don't have to use the To-Do app to complete things or to edit things. You can stay within a particular confine, or if you just were to use, let's say, OneNote and Outlook instead, to essentially enable that connection to be consistent. You won't have necessarily all of those additional features that To-Do offers, but the most basic ones, complete, update, and that type of thing, we definitely want to enable across different apps outside of the To-Do sphere as well.
So I got a few here. Where are docs stored in Planner, and what properties, hidden and visible, are indexed for search?
Yeah, so all the documents that get uploaded via the Planner experience get stored in the SharePoint site, or the document library in that SharePoint site that's default for that group. And so I guess, what was the second part of the question?
Oh, how are the properties, or what properties are indexed for search?
Yeah, and so I think, I don't know the specifics of it, but I think it's basically whenever a file is in SharePoint, you get all the core document metadata, title, file, author, created by and last modified by, and so on, so on, so on. And so all of those same things that you would typically see in a SharePoint file get indexed for these cases.
Great. So I have, as a consultant, I work with resources from my clients. Can I use Planner with them?
Yeah, and so I think this is maybe speaking to that case for external user access. So assuming that the folks that you're working with are outside of your organization, so you will have the ability to go and invite them to your plans. It's something that we're working on now and hope to have out not too long.
Cool. So one quick note, I have been responding to a handful of questions on Twitter as well. If there's any that we don't get to for whatever reason, we'll absolutely answer them on Twitter. Feel free to ask more. But we're going to try and get through as many as we can today, obviously. Okay. Rather than creating a pantheon of new apps and tools, why not scale out or dev/make robust existing tools that users are familiar with? I guess it's to both of you.
Yeah, and so no, I think that that's actually very much what we're working towards. And so the way that we view tasks isn't so much that it's a collection of separate products, it's more just a capability or a feature in Office 365. And so, much like you have documents and document collab as a feature or communication as a feature, tasks is just another one of them. And so a lot of the integration that you're seeing that us start to do here is speaking to that mission. So, you can see your planner tasks within the context of to-do. You can see it on your calendar. You're going to be able to see this stuff within the context of Teams. And so if your team happens to live within the Microsoft Teams client, you can still have access to all this stuff. If your team uses SharePoint a bunch, you can access all your content there. You don't have to access all the tasks within one of the task clients.
I guess that was kind of my point, is that Tasks is yet now another product as opposed to using the To-Do tab in Outlook, or as opposed to using SharePoint itself, or rather than using a new term that I have to then push to change-resistant customers and users, use a term they're familiar with. Completely rewrite the back end, I don't care. Call it Outlook, add a tab to it. But rather than creating more and more and more different tools, simply scale out the ones that they've heard of. Because the biggest inhibitor in my experience to adoption of the new tools is it's yet another way to collaborate, or it's yet another way to do something different that I may be able to parse out when I use Yammer, when I use Teams, when I use SharePoint, when I use Skype. But to try to communicate that is a Sisyphean effort. So that, I guess, more feedback at this point than a question. But that was
I think I appreciate the feedback. It's something that we'll definitely bring back to sort of the. Great. Yeah, it's something that we'll definitely go and bring back and discuss with both the engineering team as well as the product marketing team about what's the right way to kind of package and message.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. If we turn on To-Do preview for our tenant, will all users get an email about it?
No. When you switch it on inside the admin center, so it's similar to if you tried out the preview of Microsoft Teams earlier last year. Once it's turned on, we don't email your tenant that it's available. However, it will be switched on as a preview for your entire tenant. So if you don't want to kind of do that, you can definitely wait for commercial availability, in which case you can do all the license provisioning and have it roll out to a test group of users as well. But if you wanted to notify all of your users that, hey, there is the To-Do preview, you would have to do that yourselves, essentially. Yeah.
Does enterprise-ready soft delete include individual objects? And the person said, I'd like to see this and also have view-only access in the roadmap for Planner.
Yeah, so I think for the first one, right now it's operating at the group level. And so if you've deleted the group, all of the kind of dependent resources, so the mailbox, the document library, the site, the plan get deleted. But now with the soft delete, you have the ability to restore them during a defined period for your organization. With regards to kind of a more granular setting, I have started hearing a little bit of feedback this week around wanting a bit more of like a recycle bin capability. And so, if that's kind of the type of thing that you're looking for, we're going to take it back to the engineering team and discuss it a bit. And then what was the last part of that? Oh, and the view access.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one that we've actually been hearing about a little bit as well. And so I don't have it on my near-term roadmap, but it's something that we'll look at as sort of like an observer or kind of a manager sort of a role within a plan.
Great. And before we get to this question, someone asked, what's the roadmap timeline for all these upcoming features? It really varies feature by feature. Some are already rolling out. Some are like a month out. Some are a little more longer term. And once they're longer term, it's hard to say until I give you a date, because it could be totally inaccurate one way or the other. But feel free to ask sort of like specific, when is X feature coming, and we can do our best to address that. Go ahead.
So getting back to soft delete, I think I saw on the roadmap where you're going to allow multiple plans per group.
Yeah.
So when we have 3 million plans, what do we do?
Yeah, we'll be looking at that part of it, or at least that life cycle portion specifically.
So a way to archive or delete an individual plan? Or
yeah, so like we will definitely support kind of deleting a specific plan as part of that, as opposed to deleting just the group. And so you can kind of manage a plan lifecycle separately. And then in addition to that, we'll look at, to what extent we need to have like a restore or recycle bin for the plan level.
Can I throw one more at you?
Yeah.
Sure. I think in one of your first slides, you had a little flow of like the ecosystem, and project was listed there with a little flow down to planner, but you didn't demo it or show it. And I imagine that's because it's maybe a little bit further away. But how would that exactly work?
Yeah, I can talk about what's available today.
Yeah, I can go either way. Go for it.
So like what's available today is you can integrate Project Online to Planner through Microsoft Flow, where you create the logic. When a task is created in Project Online for a defined project, that task will also be created in a defined Planner plan. And you can add different kinds of metadata, like who should this be assigned to, et cetera. That's one directional today. Obviously, we hope that with triggers in Planner, we can start building things that are more bidirectional. There's also a new feature rolling out in the Project Online desktop client where you can add basically a hyperlink to a plan, and it also adds a visual cue of a little icon of a planner next to a project task. And so it kind of cues the PM, like, there's work being done in Planner related to this task, so they can status the work in Planner as opposed to chasing people down and what have you. And that's all today.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
My question is, the top request in my company that people have been asking for a long time with Planner is the ability to have multiple plans per group, because it's frustrating and frankly somewhat annoying to them that every time you create a new plan, creates a new group and they kind of have to start over. And also the planner templates, are those coming perhaps by the end of the year? Is that farther off?
Yeah, so with regards to the multiple plans per group, there's a couple options today. And so if you're using Planner within the Teams experience, so basically a team mapping to a group, you can actually already do this by creating multiple tabs. And so each time you create a new Planner tab, you have an option of creating a new plan. And so you can kind of do that today, and then we're going to be exposing that in the Planner clients relatively soon. I don't know if it'll quite make this quarter. It's kind of on the cusp right now, but it's something that we're actively working on currently. With regards to templates, templates is something that's also a really high up ask on our side. We've completed the designs for it right now, but we think that'll probably be a little bit more in the next, more like a Q1 CY18 sort of window.
Thank you.
Yep.
Cool. So, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Another question related to many plans and artifacts. We also have lots of people in our environment that love Planner so much for their own personal plans, but when you create the personal plan, you get the group and the notebook and the SharePoint site and all these other artifacts you don't need. Are there any plans to be able to create a planner not attached to the rest of that ecosystem?
Yeah, that actually is something that we're also looking into right now. And so I don't have an exact timeline on it yet, but it is something that we see on our list. Yeah.
So we have one question on here. It says, can I restrict access to planner cards or buckets, for example, items my boss can see but may be sensitive, so staff cannot see?
Sorry, say that again?
It's restricting access. Can I restrict access to planner cards or buckets, so items that my boss can see, maybe staff can't see?
Yeah, so I would say that we don't have any sort of near-term plans to do more granular permissions within Planner right now. If it's something that you can go and submit to user voice, and we'll kind of see how it gets voted up. But it's not something that we've looked at very much.
Question in the back?
Hi again. Yeah. So I have a question that's similar to a couple questions that have been asked earlier about site sprawl and artifacts and all these other things. So I am the trainer, I am the evangelist and the adoption specialist, right? So I'm encouraging everyone to use these amazing tools. And then my systems guys get really upset with me because now we've got a million of these plans and groups and all these other things. So they are reluctant to turn it on and have that sprawl turn into manifest destiny, right? So it appears as though on the Microsoft side, there is less concern about that sprawl than there might be on the tenancy side. So I'm just curious from your perspective why it seems that, as I understand it, all these things sit at the top level of our tenancy, yet a SharePoint collection can be nested into their own neat little boxy site collection. So if you could speak to that, I would really appreciate that.
Yeah, so I think that in general, what we're trying to do here is that, we believe that a lot of these systems work well in a self-service manner, that, we should kind of let the end users get to the tools that they want to use and go from there. But the balance that we're trying to strike is that we want to make sure that we have provided the tenant admin or the IT admin sufficient control. And so that's a little bit of the features that I was speaking to. So some of the controls that exist already is one is just the ability to control who can create a group or a plan at all. And then, so you can kind of lock that down to be more of an admin-led experience or a request-based experience. And then there's the additional features I mentioned. So, one about the things about the sprawl is we hear it's kind of both from a resource, like, I guess, quota sort of thing, as well as just from a pollution of your namespace thing. And so from the polluting of the namespace side of things, that's where the naming policies come in. And so you'll have the ability to go and specify very clearly how all the plans and groups should be named. And so that way it's a little bit easier to segment off portions. So like, I gave an example of you can make every group start with the word group. And so you kind of just know that that's what they are. And then the next bit is around the expiry policies, and so if people aren't using all these things, it kind of gets cleaned up behind the scenes, and so you don't have to spend a lot of your own time managing it. And I think the thing that's kind of important is that we love getting feedback about additional sort of IT control features, and so if you have any specific things that you're interested in, definitely stop by the booth or stop by after.
Okay, so we are at time, but the rest of you that are here are hardcores. We're coming to the front. We'll definitely answer your question.
Yeah.
For those who are here, you're hardcores. We had one more question. It's an important one. We want it on the record. Is there still a task limit?
No.
No. And with that, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Feel free to come to the front and ask questions.